There is a small city in western Michigan, population just over 30,000, best known for its Tulip Festival and its Dutch-American heritage. Holland, Michigan does not look like the birthplace of a military dynasty. But out of this quiet lakeside town came a family that would fund the largest private army in American history, place a member in the Trump cabinet, and reshape how wars are fought for hire. The Prince family built their first fortune selling car parts. Their second fortune they built from conflict. To understand where the money came from, you have to start with a man most people have never heard of. Edgar Prince was born in Holland in 1931. His father, a produce supplier, died of a heart attack when Edgar was just 11 years old. Edgar worked his way through the University of Michigan on an engineering degree, came back to Holland, and took a job at a local die-cast machine manufacturing firm called Bus Machine Works, eventually rising to chief engineer. In 1965, at age 33, he walked away from that job and started his own company with 2 colleagues. They began with 46 employees and a focus on building custom machine tools. For the first several years, the company was solid but unremarkable. The turn came in the early 1970s, when a company engineer named Con Marcus developed a prototype for a lighted vanity mirror mounted on a car's sun visor. Edgar had long operated by a motto of, "There has to be a better way." The lit visor was exactly that kind of product. In 1972, General Motors purchased the design for its Cadillac line. It was the beginning of something much larger. Within years, Prince Corporation was producing 20,000 sun visors per day. The company expanded into overhead consoles, door panels, HomeLink garage door opener systems integrated into visors, and other automotive interior components. By 1992, annual sales had climbed past $300 million. By the early 1990s, the company employed over 4,500 people, almost all of them in the Holland area. Edgar ran the company with a set of values he never separated from his business. The Prince Corporation was closed on Sundays. Salespeople were flown home to their families on company planes almost every night. Edgar gave one press interview in his life, around 1980, felt he was misquoted, and refused to speak to the media ever again. He co-founded the Family Research Council with conservative activist Gary Bauer. He supported civic projects in downtown Holland, including the city's snowmelt street system. And he and Elsa were credited by the town with saving the historic Tower Clock building from demolition. He was a wealthy man who almost nobody outside Western Michigan knew existed. On March 2, 1995, Edgar Prince finished lunch at the company headquarters in Holland, stepped into an elevator, and died of a massive heart attack. He was 63 years old. His company was generating around $500 million a year in sales and carried virtually no debt. After his death, his widow Elsa faced a clear set of options. The family owed substantial estate taxes, and competing as a global automotive supplier was growing expensive. In October 1996, Elsa sold the Prince Corporation to Johnson Controls for $1.35 billion in cash. That single transaction is the source of everything that follows. Edgar and Elsa had 4 children. The eldest, Elizabeth, better known as Betsy, had married Dick DeVos in 1979. Dick was the son of Richard DeVos, who co-founded Amway in 1959. That marriage placed Betsy at the intersection of 2 of the largest family fortunes in Michigan. In 2016, Forbes listed the combined family as the 88th richest in America, with an estimated net worth of $5.4 billion. Betsy would later serve as U.S. Secretary of Education under Donald Trump from 2017 to 2021. Financial disclosures filed during that period showed she received at least $225 million in outside income across those 4 years, with at least $75 million of that traced to distributions from Alticor, the parent company of Amway. The youngest of the 4 children was Eric Dean Prince, born June 6, 1969. He attended the United States Naval Academy for 3 semesters before transferring to Hillsdale College, where he graduated in 1992 with a degree in economics. He was a volunteer firefighter, a cold water diver for the local sheriff's department, and an emergency medical technician during his college years. He interned at the White House under George H.W. Bush in 1990. After college, he went through officer candidate school, became a Navy SEAL, and deployed to the Middle East, Haiti, and the Balkans with SEAL Team 8. As a young man, he had traveled the world with his father, including visits to the Dachau concentration camp, divided Berlin, and the battlefields of Normandy. His mother later said those trips made a deep impression on him. When his father died in 1995, Eric left active duty and helped run the family company until it sold the following year. He was 26 years old, with access to the proceeds of a $1.35 billion sale. Most people in that position would simply invest the money and live comfortably. Eric Prince went in a different direction. He later said that watching the 1994 Rwandan genocide was a defining moment. "It really bothered me," Prince told interviewers. "It made me realize you can't sit back and pontificate. You have to act." In 1997, after relocating to Virginia Beach, he used his inheritance to purchase approximately 7,000 acres of land in North Carolina's Great Dismal Swamp region and began building a training facility. The dark, murky, peat-colored water of the swamp inspired the company's name. The Blackwater Lodge and Training Center officially opened on May 15, 1998, as a $6.5 million facility comprising indoor and outdoor shooting ranges, urban reproduction environments, an artificial lake, and a driving track. It was built in Camden and Currituck counties, just south of the Virginia border. Prince described the relationship between Blackwater and the U.S. military the way others would later describe FedEx and the Postal Service. An efficient private solution filling gaps a slow government institution could not. Blackwater USA was officially co-founded on December 26, 1996, alongside Al Clark, and began offering training support to military and law enforcement organizations. The first real contract from the U.S. government came in 2000, following the bombing of the USS Cole. After September 11, 2001, everything changed. The CIA quickly realized it needed protective security details overseas and did not have enough people. Blackwater provided a 21-man team, trained and deployed within days, to protect CIA personnel and facilities in Afghanistan. That was the beginning of a relationship between Blackwater and the U.S. intelligence community that would grow for nearly a decade. Then came Iraq. By 2003, the land invasion had given way to a vast political mission requiring hundreds of diplomats and State Department employees operating in one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. The U.S. government needed security services it could not provide itself. In 2004, the State Department awarded Blackwater a contract under the Worldwide Personal Protective Services Program to guard the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Although the maximum value of that contract was set at approximately $332 million, Blackwater was ultimately paid over $488 million between June 2004 and June 2006 alone. By 2009, Blackwater had received more than $1.35 billion from the State Department for security services in Iraq. The CIA separately awarded the company over $600 million in classified contracts between 2001 and 2010. In total, between 1997 and 2010, Blackwater pulled in over $2 billion in government security contracts. At its height, Blackwater was operating in 9 countries simultaneously, maintaining a database of roughly 40,000 former elite military and law enforcement personnel available for rapid deployment, running a private fleet of more than 20 aircraft, including helicopter gunships, and operating its own intelligence division. By 2007 alone, the company completed approximately 11,000 missions. It became the largest of the State Department's 3 private security companies, providing 987 guards for embassies and bases abroad. Then came September 16, 2007. A 19-man Blackwater convoy, known as Raven 23, drove to Nisour Square in Baghdad that morning, responding to a car bomb detonation nearby. The convoy was under orders to hold position and not leave the green zone. The shift leader made a tactical decision to advance anyway. What happened next became one of the most documented and disputed events of the Iraq War. Blackwater contractors opened fire in the crowded traffic circle. By the time the shooting stopped, 17 Iraqi civilians were dead, and 20 more were wounded, including a young couple in a white Kia whose vehicle caught fire and burned with them inside. The youngest victim was a 9-year-old boy sitting in the back seat of his father's car. 4 Blackwater employees were convicted in federal court in 2014 and 2015. Nicholas Slatton received a life sentence for first-degree murder. On December 22, 2020, President Trump pardoned all 4. Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki called the killings a crime and sought to end all Blackwater operations in the country. In 2009, Iraq did not renew Blackwater's license to operate. In 2010, facing mounting legal problems and the erosion of its contracts, Edgar Prince sold the company for approximately $200 million to a group of private investors. The buyers renamed it XE Services, then Academy, in 2011. And in 2014, it merged with Triple Canopy to form Constellus Holdings. The Blackwater name was gone, but Edgar Prince was not finished. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this analysis, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel tremendously. After the sale, Prince moved to Abu Dhabi in 2010. He had been hired by Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, for a specific and sensitive task: recruit and train an 800-member force of foreign troops. The UAE wanted a battalion of mercenaries capable of conducting counterterrorism operations, defending oil infrastructure, and managing internal security in the event of pro-democracy protests or labor uprisings. In May 2011, the New York Times revealed that the UAE had secretly signed a $529 million contract with a new company called Reflex Responses, known internally as R2, to build this force. Prince was not named in corporate documents. He officially worked for a separate entity called Assurance Management Consultants that shared a floor in an Abu Dhabi office tower with R2, while overseeing the entire military program behind the scenes. It was Prince who installed Reflex's senior management, hired its subcontractors, and flew to South America to oversee the recruitment of former Colombian Special Forces soldiers. The Colombian troops earned $3,000 a month, roughly 5 times their military salary back home. Colombia's defense ministry estimated that around 500 of its soldiers, including Black Hawk helicopter pilots, had left to join Prince's force. Colombia's deputy defense minister complained directly to Abu Dhabi. The complaints produced no result. In 2012, Prince co-founded Frontier Resource Group, a private equity firm targeting natural resources investments in Africa. In January 2014, he took that further by partnering with China's largest state-owned investment conglomerate, CITIC Group, to found Frontier Services Group, a Hong Kong-listed company focused on security, aviation, and logistics across Africa. CITIC became the single largest investor in FSG. 2 of FSG's board members were Chinese nationals. Prince described the company's mission as helping Chinese businesses operate safely across the continent. FSG signed contracts in South Sudan, Somalia, Kenya, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In 2019, FSG signed contracts supporting China's Belt and Road Initiative that included plans to build a series of training bases in Xinjiang, the Chinese region where the internment of Uyghur Muslims had drawn international condemnation. Prince resigned from his positions at FSG in April 2021. As of early 2025, Prince has resurfaced again in the DRC, this time with a reported agreement worth approximately $700 million with the Congolese government to secure and help tax the country's vast mineral reserves, including copper, cobalt, and coltan. In a separate incident that February, contractors operating under Prince's team were reportedly deployed to help government forces retake the city of Uvira from M23 rebels before returning to their primary mission. The U.S. State Department stated it held no contracts with Prince or any of his companies. The family's financial reach extends beyond military contracting, across the entire spectrum of American conservative power. The Edgar and Elsa Prince Foundation, established in 1979, has directed millions of dollars over the decades to organizations including Focus on the Family Research Council, and the Alliance Defending Freedom. Betsy and Dick DeVos, through their own foundation launched in 1989, had reached $139 million in lifetime charitable giving by 2015. In 2016, Forbes placed the combined Prince and DeVos family network at an estimated $5.4 billion, ranking them 88th among the wealthiest American families. Eric Prince, as of 2024, is estimated by most financial outlets at around $2 billion individually, though Prince himself claimed in an October 2024 interview that his net worth was considerably less, arguing that legal costs, banking access issues, and years of controversy had significantly reduced his wealth from the peak Blackwater years. The family that traces back to a die-cast machine repair shop in western Michigan has touched two of the most consequential spaces in American life: the privatization of military power abroad and the politics of education and conservative influence at home. Edgar Prince invented a lit mirror and put it on the underside of a car visor. What his son built with the money from that invention was something no one had ever built before. Whether what came next was an expression of that legacy or a departure from it depends entirely on who you ask.